guys did the drive-in shows. There's got to be, obviously that was the first time anybody's really done anything like that, but you know, the dynamic of playing a live regular show that's not socially distanced, then going to play, you know, drive-ins, and then going back to playing, you know, regular shows, but now they're socially distanced. I mean, it's got to be a very interesting dynamic, especially for a band like Steel Panther, where you guys have, you know, it's more than just the music. It's the visual, and you know, it's a whole production.
Yeah, it is. It is very strange. You gauge your, it's a, you know, when you do a show, a normal show, there's a relationship and an exchange of energy with the crowd and the band and the whole thing. And it's, you know, the synergy that happens is what it is. When you change one of those elements, like taking people out of a room and putting them in cars away from you, it changes the dynamic. So for us, it's like, it takes about 3 or 4 songs to get used to what you're doing, whatever the show is, whatever, reduced indoor, reduced outdoor, drive-in, like, or a matinee. So where they go half capacity at 7 p.m. and then they disinfect the room and then you do another one at 9:30. It's like, we've done that too. So you just like, I guess it's like, you know, I don't know if you're a football fan, but the only analogy I can give you is it's fucking, you're calling audibles as far as how you present the show. It's a little bit different. And for us, because one of the main parts of our shows is bringing people on stage, and girls get on stage and they show their tits and, or whatever they do. And, you know, they dance and it's fun. It's intoxicating for the crowd and us for it to get into a frenzy. We can't do that now. So we're finding other ways to, you know, we were in Oklahoma City not too long ago, and the stage was big. People in the crowd were closer to each other than we were on stage. And so during a song called Girl from Oklahoma, we brought a girl up. We taped a 6-foot area around the girl that we did not cross into. and we sang to her. We sang to her from outside the line.
No,
and it was cool, man. It was like, it was a little bit of normalcy. It was different because we couldn't get up on her, but it made for other things to happen, like when we sing, because when we do that section of the show, a lot of times we just improv with songs, right? So Satchel will play a little guitar part and Satchel will sing to the girl, and then I'll go, okay, Michael, so you sing to the girl, and he'll write a new song right there on the spot. Then he goes, all right, Stix, go. And so my song was something like, you're really, really hot and I love your face. I want to do you right, but I'm going to give you your space. And so in reference to the damn, and I'm trying to get over the line. So it's a whole, it changes what we do, but it causes us to go places we don't normally go.
Sure. And I'm sure that it, kind of keeps things fresh, keeps things fresh and keeps you guys on your feet, trying new things. And
absolutely.
I mean, last time I saw you guys, I think it was like a year ago almost, in Cleveland. It was like, I guess probably your last tour before the pandemic. But yeah, I mean, I see you guys almost every time you come to the House of Blues in Cleveland. And it's always a great show, and it's always a different show, and the jokes are just so funny, the onstage banter. I mean, that's what, kind of sells me on the band. It's like a concert and a comedy show all in one. And, I think the most interesting thing is that, a lot of bands, especially, the newer generation of bands, you only know, maybe the singer or, whoever it is in the band. And in Steel Panther, everybody, everybody has their own, their own thing. You know what I mean? It's not, Michael Starr and everybody else. It's all four of you.
I appreciate that you notice that's what happens in your mind, because I feel like we are all very identifiable, and all of us do press and interviews. And even though I don't talk on stage, because geographically when the drummer talks it's just weird, and I already got 2 guys that talk a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I got Lexi Fox who throws stuff in. I feel like all of us have made our mark, you know, whether it's in the press or whatever, that, you know, it's like kind of like Kiss in a way. Like, you know, the Catman, you know, the Star Child, you know, the Demon, and you know, the Spaceman. You know what I mean? Like, they're these guys that inhabit the drums, you know, and there's a lot of bands that I see nowadays, and it could be because I'm an old man, I don't know, but I see like a lot of bands where I could not tell you if you lined up 4 bands worth of guys and you put them all in different spots, I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck's in what band at all. Maybe like out of, let's just say there's 4 bands. Let's just say there's 5 bands of 4 guys. So you got 20 guys lined up. I might be able to pick out 4 of them.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
Yeah, I agree, and that you know, that to me is, like I said, what's so cool about Steel Panther, and you know, a lot of the bands that I like. I mean, I'm a younger guy, but I always have gravitated towards like older music. But you know, all the bands I like, you know, it's more than just a band, you know, and everybody, you know, everybody in the band, and it's you know, it becomes more of like a I guess like a personable type thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's important to us to try to entertain on all the levels, you know, not just have our singer be the guy and then everybody else is like phoning it in. We all come to entertain, and we all like, I love that people know who I am, who Stix is in the band, you know, especially when you have personalities like we have in our band, which we have big fucking egos and big personalities.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing that the kind of support each guy gets from all the fans. You know, I mean, people have their favorites for sure, but you know, I feel like each guy in our band gets a lot of love from people. It's cool.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's you know, in the since this pandemic started, you guys have been doing the what fucking day is it on Facebook, you know, and it's cool to see you know, all the different guys, and I think it, you know, every now and then there's, you know, somebody else outside of Steel Panther that shows up in the videos and stuff, and you know, and I think it's cool that you guys are you know, managing to stay I don't want to say relevant, but
yeah, that's a good word. It's legit. I get it.
You know, with the what fucking day is it, and then the live streams, and then I think you guys were doing some stuff like SPTV, you know, the YouTube channel or whatever. So you know, a lot of stuff going on, and you know, I haven't really seen any other bands do that. I mean, you know, now more and more the live streams are becoming a very common thing, but outside of that, you know, it's maybe like, oh, you know, here's a fucking t-shirt, you know, that you can go order or something, you know what I mean? And it's, or a mask or whatever, but there's not actual content for the fans to consume.
Yeah, I think that just the nature of our band allows us. We have, well, first of all, it because of each guy's fairly creative, and we are able to create a lot of different content. Whereas there's guys in bands, and this isn't a good thing or a bad thing, but they just are not that personality.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of players who play on stage and entertain, but outside playing the music, it just might not be their forte or their desire to be like, hey, check me out, I'm gonna act like a fucking clown for your entertainment, you know.
Right.
And all 4 of us are fucking hams. That's just the way that we're wired. Not saying it's a good thing, not saying it's a bad thing, but it's like, it helps in a pandemic because it enables us to put out content. And we also have a license to basically do whatever the fuck we want. I don't know how we got it, but we've like sort of been like, it's just accepted that Steel Panther, they're gonna try to entertain you almost at all costs. And people in the beginning, there was a lot of musicians like, fuck those guys, fuck it, they don't take this shit seriously, you know, that kind of mentality. Like,
sure.
Like, fuck you guys. And we were just like, cool story, bro, you do your thing, we're gonna fucking do ours. Like, we love to rock, we love metal, that's what we do. but we also like having a fucking fun time and laughing, and we like titties.
Hey, don't we all love titties? That's for
we
sure.
We all love titties, and we love to smile while we're fucking rocking. Like, and you know, there's a lot of bands that are like, their thing is, I'm a fucking serious rock band, and I fucking don't take no shit from nobody, and these are my riffs, man.
Yep.
And there's a place for it. I get it, and I respect it. But by no means would I go, fuck you guys. Like, that's not, everybody does what they do because they got to do what they got to do, and they want to. So over time, I think a lot of those artists or people or critics for of Steel Panther have just gone like this. They've done one or two things. They've either gone, fuck man, you know what? I get it. It's cool. They are doing their thing, and it ain't hurting anybody. And you know what? They're actually fucking good at what they do. Or there's the other people that are like, yeah, but I still don't fucking get it, dude. And to me, I love when we can change people's mind, because then it seems like shit gets a little easier for them because they're not fighting it. But those people that are holding on to it, it's just like, dude, there's other shit to worry about.
Well, you know, I was going to say, I think it's pretty sweet how, you know, a lot of these, I guess, more like mainstream, you know, musicians or celebrities or whatever have really kind of, I guess, accepted Steel Panther. You know, I think, you know, Kelly Clarkson coming up on stage with you, or, you know, obviously Pink. I think Corey Taylor was on, I know he's jammed with you guys live, but he was on Death to All But Metal, I think, right? And then
Eyes of a Panther and Death to All But Metal and Asian Hooker.
What was it? Asian Hooker? Oh, okay.
He's the sucky fucky parts.
Oh, is that him? I had no idea. Oh my God.
That's him, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Now you'll hear it.
Isn't I want to say that I saw somewhere that Scott Ian was on.
Yeah, he played on that record. He did. He came in and played some parts on that record for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just there's so many different people from you know, the rock and metal world to, you know, more mainstream pop artists and stuff like that have, you know, come on stage. And it's just very interesting to me that a band like Steel Panther can attract people like that, you know. And I'm sure, you know, maybe some of those people were like, oh, fuck Steel Panther in the beginning or whatever. And then they caught on to the joke, you know, not the joke, but they caught on and, you know, got good with it.
I think, you know, out of the gate, Corey Taylor was amazing. And actually, we've become very good friends. And
you guys toured with Stone Sour a couple years ago.
We did tour with Stone Sour. And, you know, when this pandemic ends, I want to tour with Corey's solo band. We spoke yesterday, but we spoke a week ago on the 6th, maybe. And we were talking, you know, he's got his new record. And he and I were just going, dude, when we can, let's go do some fucking shows together. Because we know a couple guys in his band, his solo band, that I've known, like Zach Throne, his guitar player. I've known for fucking 20 years. So it's like this old school vibe. And, you know, when Corey was recording, I can't remember what Slipknot record they were doing in LA. We were doing the Viper Room. This was like 2003 or 4 or something. He would come to the Viper Room, and the first song that he ever did with us was Nothing But a Good Time. He got up on stage and just jammed it with us, and he killed it. And right out of the gate, he loved our band, and he had such a good time, and we've been able to, you know, have a friendship. And it's that's one of the coolest things, and that's one of the things I miss most about touring, and especially festivals, is seeing my peers and my friends in other bands, because I like that fraternity that we're in. You know, there's something about seeing my buddies in other bands that I haven't seen all year, and just going, hey dude, and we all do the same thing. We all get in a bus and we go, and you entertain, and then you hit the reset button, you do it the next day. We all do the same thing at different levels, but it's all like there's a bond with other touring musicians.
Sure. And I can, you know, imagine, I know when I'm booking tours or whatever, and the bands know each other, you know, they get all, you know, excited because it makes things, you know, more comfortable on the road. They're having a good time every day. But, you know, I've seen you guys at a couple of festivals, and I've always thought that Steel Panther is such a great band for festivals, because no matter like where you are in the lineup, whether you're, you know, playing after, I don't know, a fucking really heavy band, or you're playing, whatever. It's just, it's always good. It always, breaks up the mood, and just lightens things up, and everybody's just, fucking partying and drinking for, 45 minutes or whatever. And everybody's just having a great time.
Yeah. I think, especially, we do big festivals in Europe, and, Wacken, Download, and we go pretty high on the bill. We've gotten ourselves to a really nice place, status wise in the festival, hierarchy. And obviously, the longer we go, and if we keep putting great records out, then we'll go deeper and deeper, because you become a staple, at these festivals. And when we go on after Accept, or if we go on, fucking before Ozzy Osbourne, I think when we come on stage, the audience, much like I was talking about the other guys in other bands, how they feel about us, I think they see us, and it lightens the mood at a festival. And all of a sudden, those serious rock faces, that shit,
Yeah,
that goes away for temporarily, and they start looking around and smiling, because chicks get on shoulders, titties come flying out. And I swear, you cannot be aggressive when you're checking out titties. You can't be like, "Oh, those titties." You can't.
I agree.
You're like, "Yeah, dude, look at the titties." They are intoxicating. The joy that the girl is doing enough, as is feeling enough to do it. It's all that whole big party time.
It brings everybody together. It's like everybody becomes family while you guys are on stage.
Everybody becomes naked family. It's awesome.
And I would imagine the crowds have to be, a little bit more divisive maybe in Europe, because, over here in the States, the festivals are all a little more mainstream. Whereas you get to Wacken or things like that, there's a lot of like super underground, like extreme, brutality bands. And, a lot of those, the elitists are like, "Oh, fuck you if you're not, playing black metal, or whatever." And then, but do those guys, do the metal elitists, do they get into Steel Panther?
I think that we are, I think first of all, just because of our tenacity and how long we've been doing it, they in the beginning, there was a shit ton of resistance from like black metal dudes, like, who are like, "Fuck you." We did a fucking show in Lorelei, Germany. I can't remember what the festival was, but Zakk Wylde, we went on right after Zakk Wylde, and it was a gnarly metal fest in the fucking mountains, in an amphitheater carved into fucking mountains. And it was it was so metal. I couldn't read one of the band's names, because the font, kind of like your shirt. But but it was super gnarly. But then Steel Panther was on the festival. We were like, I think Zakk played at like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. We played at like 5 or something like that. And we go on, and we're the only motherfuckers in purple sequins. I mean, Lexi Fox has purple disco ball sequins pants on, and he's got big flowy. He looks like a lady. We got 4 guys with long hair and just like, just prancy, but fucking killing it in our playing. Like, because you can't deny that, not to sound like an asshole, but you can't deny the playing, because the playing and the singing is fucking legit. And people, we hadn't been doing it as long as we have to this point, obviously, but at first they were like, "No, not at our festival." By the end of it, dude, they had come down from the fucking thing and were fucking rocking. They were rocking, and they were smiling. I'd never seen so many black metal fans smile in my life. It was amazing. And somehow, somewhere, girls emerged from the ether, and like, they were there, and it was that same Steel Panther party vibe. And I imagine it felt like they appreciated it, and by the end of it, they were fucking cheering and super stoked. So now, because we've been doing it for fucking 30,000 years, I don't think that there's anybody who goes, "What the fuck do these guys think they're doing?" I think they go, that's Steel Panther. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they just accept it. We're like cockroaches.
Well, and I think what you know, what you brought up is about the musicianship of the band. You know, I would imagine that a lot of people probably that have never heard of the band, they take a look and they're like, oh my God, this is like Faster Pussycat 2.0 or something.
Yeah.
And then they hear it, you know, and it's like, oh my, because I can't tell you how many people over the years that I've had, you know, that I've had a discussion about Steel Panther with, and they're like, oh man, I wish that band would put out like a you know, a serious record, you know, and so they could
a real record.
Yeah, because those guys are so fucking talented, man. Blah blah blah. And it's like, you know, that's not Steel Panther. You know, it's like when you know Motley Crue put out Generation Swine. That's not Motley Crue, and we see how well that worked. You know,
dude, it's so funny because we've gotten that question. Are you guys ever going to do they say real record? Yeah. And we always go, we do real records. We do real records. They're just, the lyrics are ridiculous at points, but you know, it's so fascinating that when you sing about dicks, people tend, or sex, right? Or drugs or rock and roll, people go, oh, they're a one-trick pony, right?
Yeah.
But if you stand back and if you analyzed Adele's lyrics and topically, what does Adele sing about? How many things does Adele sing about? How many things does Taylor Swift sing about? One, love, breakup, and love. You know, like
sure,
the heart. So because we sing about what we sing about, people tend to go, that's the band that sings about dicks. but nobody says Taylor Swift, oh, that's the girl that sings about all the breakup songs, right? You know, it's like, it's funny.
Well, you know, it's interesting that, you know, I think a lot of people would be under the assumption that, and maybe you disagree, but, you know, oh, if Steel Panther would clean it up, they would be so much bigger. They'd be playing, you know, fucking arenas or this or that. But then, you know, look at that song WAP. You know, I mean, that song to me is got to be one of the filthiest songs I've ever heard. You know, nothing wrong with it. I don't have a problem with the song. I think it's a catchy song, but it's to me hands down way worse than anything I've ever heard from Steel Panther. Except for maybe Gangbang in the Old Folks Home. That song, when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, man, this is wild.
Have you ever heard Handicap Slut?
I have. And, you know, when I was when I first found the band, I found it like on YouTube. And I always thought it was funny because I actually have I've met you before. I'm sure you don't remember me, but I have a physical thing. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe these guys are fucking doing this. And it's
how did
great.
You feel about it?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, about that song.
I think it's great, but I also I'm not a big fan of I don't want to say cancel culture. I'm trying to think of the term I'm looking for. I guess I just don't get offended by you know, anything. I mean, right. I think everything has humor to a degree.
Right.
And I think that song, I mean, it's fucking funny. I
mean, the song for us, it's interesting, and it's interesting that you do your arm, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so a song like that, it's very interesting because the way that we are as dudes, as human beings, I would never say, oh my gosh, look at that guy's arm, ha ha. This is not how I roll, or any of the guys in my band roll. But in that song in particular, it's a story about hitting a girl
with the tour bus, right? Yeah.
And so it's the story of that. But when you dig down into the lyrics, it's a story about the fact that she got paralyzed, but she still loves dick. That's to us. That's the funny. It's like, because people don't think about that stuff. Like if I saw somebody who was paralyzed, the last thing I would generally think is, why do they still love that dick? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, right.
So to us, it's not about, you know, it's almost like Fat Girl, the song Fat Girl. right? People have asked us who don't get it, who are like, man, do fat girls get offended? And I'm like, it's the opposite.
I've been to so many of your shows, and I can tell you firsthand that I've seen many a big girl on a Steel Panther stage.
They fucking love it. It's like, because we're not saying she's fat, ha ha. We're saying she's big. And look, big girls, they know they're big. And the ones who come to our show who request that song, or they're singing it at the top of their lungs, fucking, they love it because they've owned their self-image, they've owned how they feel about themselves, and they're celebrating it. And you know, for somebody, it's really weird for somebody to go, you can't say that because you're fat shaming. No, we're not. We're just singing about a girl who's fat, and it's a hard, because it goes deeper than just what people think. When they see fat girl, they think fat girl, ha ha, look at the fat girl. And it's not that. Our lyrics go, I know this sounds fucking weird, but our lyrics, you got to kind of get into them, and you realize that there's a story behind it that's almost celebratory. In all this, Gangbang at the Old Folks Home is about old people who love to fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but like, I like explaining it, because maybe somebody who's judging off a song title. Now look, Asian hooker is about a hooker who's Asian.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of deepness in that one.
Sure.
But you know what I'm saying? But it's fun for us. We take a lot of pride in the lyrics, even though they seem like fucking 12-year-olds may have written them at points. They're not easy lyrics to write.
Well, it's just like, any comedian. I mean, you turn on a Netflix special, whoever, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, whoever, you're like, oh my God, these guys get paid ridiculous amounts of money. Anybody could go up on stage and fucking make these ridiculous jokes, but it's not that easy. I mean, it's really not. And it takes a lot of effort and thought, even though, whether it's a comedian's jokes or Steel Panther lyrics, it sounds thoughtless, but it does require a lot of thought and effort that's why it's so funny, and it resonates with so many people, because they're very well crafted. It's not,
Thank you.
It's not a 12-year-old singing about boners. It's, adults,
50-year-olds, bro, you could say it.
50-year-olds singing about boners, but they have you guys have the creativity and the I'm sure, a lot of the songs are based off of real life experiences.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot of effort to craft something, whether it's very intelligent humor or very, toilet humor, I guess, but
yeah.
I think oftentimes people get too offended over, something that, I would imagine there's probably a lot of people that have been offended by a fat girl that are very skinny, and they're like, oh, yeah, I can't believe
that's who would say it.
Exactly. So it's just like other people would say, oh, handicapped slut. I mean, I can't believe you guys fucking, what the fuck's wrong with you? But, me personally, I think it's hilarious. And, I guess it's not for everyone, but I don't think it's fair to, I can't tell you how many girls over the years that I've dated, I'm like, oh my God, we gotta go see Steel Panther or whatever. I mean, I remember at Rock on the Range in Columbus, I was with a girl and she goes, I am not fucking watching that band. I'm leaving. You're going to sit there all by yourself. And I said, fuck it. I'm not watching whatever band you want to watch. I'm going to fucking sit here and I'm going to watch Steel Panther. And she didn't get it.
You know what? That's the thing. I understand that our band is not for everybody. And if you don't like our band, I get it, man. We are a specific flavor. And if you don't like pistachio and we're pistachio, you're just not going to like it. And some people don't like the lyrics because, it's funny. You mentioned the skinny girl who would be like, you can't say that. It's not our discomfort with it. It's her discomfort with it, because it's not that big girl's discomfort with it. She's cool with it, generally speaking. And I'm not saying, I mean, there might be some big girls that could get offended by it, I guess, but and to them, I would say, sorry that we're offending you. Please don't listen.
Yeah.
You know,
just having fun with it.
Yeah, we're not stopping, because this is what we do. And I feel, and I never thought I'd say this, or I never thought I'd even think this, but Steel Panther, hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. Hey dude, I'm on an interview right now. I'm gonna call you right back. Later. That was Satchel.
Oh, right on.
Because of the general culture that is happening, or that has been happening over the last few years, the PC, all that shit, people have asked us over the past few years, are you guys considering toning it down? Would you consider like maybe dialing it back? And to that question, I say, fuck no, especially now where there's less and less places that you can go as a music listener or a fan of entertainment or whatever you're looking for, that wants irreverence, that wants no apologies, that wants, we're gonna, if we think it, we're gonna say it, as long as we're not screaming fire in a crowded theater, or something like that.
Sure.
Or not inciting violence or riots, but we're celebrating shit that we like, and we're speaking in the way that we like to speak. And we're saying it the way we would talk to each other and to our friends. If you don't like it, fuck you, double fucking thumb. Fuck off, because we're going to do what we're going to do. You don't have to dig it. And there needs to be more places that people can go listen to Dave Chappelle tell jokes, instead of people going, oh, he can't say, fuck you. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. You don't have to like it. Same with Steel Panther, same with every band.
I agree. Now, do you think that like, could Steel Panther start today, or do you think, with the climate that we're in, or do you think that it is accepted only because you guys have, so to speak, been grandfathered in with the non-PC humor?
I see what you did. You called us grandfathers. That's cool. Way to go, Logan.
Well, you guys are the correct age, so
you're not wrong. That's one of the best questions I've ever had. Could we start today?
I just like everybody else, this is not very interesting, but I'm a huge fan of The Office.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that show is so great. And a lot of people that, were too young or whatever to watch it when it was on, they watch it now. But I feel like that's also a show, not the whole show, mainly, the character of Michael Scott, I don't think could happen today. I think it would be deemed as way too offensive, with all the gay jokes and the black jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
Even though it's obviously that's one of the biggest TV shows ever. I
do know, and I think I agree with you. His ignorance might not be his character's ignorance might not be tolerated now. And by that same token, if Dave Chappelle, and I use him because I think he's brilliant. I think if Dave Chappelle came out now with the things he was saying, it wouldn't get traction, because people would just be like, you can't say that, new guy. You can't say that now. Like,
even especially a guy, even like Howard Stern or something like that. I mean, I think they've really like toned down like the whack pack stuff, some of those guys in there and things like that. This is a very interesting time that we're living in, but it's also, in a way, I kind of feel like, using The Office example, a lot of the people that like to watch it would also probably be the ones that would oppose the show if it came out today.
Right. I think you're right. And I think if Steel Panther started today, I think it would be much harder to have the career that we have. Just because I don't know where this I don't know if where we are right now, like the pendulum, right? The swings. So if it's in the middle of being PC, But this side is like, you could say whatever the fuck you want, like in 1985, just say. It swung, right? It went, okay, we're going to pass this. You can't say that. You can't say that anymore. Fuck you. Cancel culture. Cancel. We're here. We're like right here. And I got to think, just by human nature, that it eventually, maybe it hits here. Eventually, it's got to come back towards the middle at some point. So, and I think it's cyclical, and maybe in a few years, or the next year to 3 or 4 years, if the pendulum swings back, Panther would have a shot at succeeding. But as it stands today, if we started today and came out with Asian Hooker and Death to All Metal and
Handicapped Slut.
Handicapped Slut would never fly.
Yeah, you guys are canceled in a heartbeat.
People would be like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys?
Yeah.
Not that they don't say that now, but we are grandfathered in, and they go, what the fuck is wrong with them? And then there's another person somewhere to go, oh, that's just Steel Panther.
Are you familiar with Wheeler Walker Jr.?
I am very familiar with Wheeler Walker Jr. He actually covered one of our songs.
Which song?
Steel Panther, Fuck My Girlfriend.
Steel Panther, fucked my girlfriend.
Oh, that was a cover? I thought that was just something he had put together.
Satchel wrote that.
For him, or have you guys actually played that before?
We never played it. Somehow he got a copy of it. We never released it. And there's a version out in one of our hard drives with Corey Taylor singing it.
Oh my God. You guys ever going to release that?
We should.
Yeah.
We fucking should. You know what? I need to talk to Satchel about that. We should. Corey Taylor singing Steel Panther, Fuck My Girlfriend. It's amazing. It sounds like the fucking Eagles, like the original version. Wheeler Walker did a version of it. The end product, the end result of it, I heard and I was like, it's cool. And it was nice of him to want to do. But when you hear our version of it, especially with Corey on it, you'll be like, this sounds like the fucking Eagles.
Well, you guys you guys have to release that. That would
be
great. I just, as far as like lyrical content, to me, he's one of the only other ones with, similar stuff. I mean, obviously he's country, but
he's the country version of us. Yes.
Yeah. So, but he's kind of went away the past couple, he had like an issue with some viral video, the kid that was with the MAGA hat that was like mocking the Indian guy or whatever. So he tweeted like, if you go punch this kid in the face, I'll send you a free vinyl or something. And, a few months after that, he kind of went away. But, when he was around on the last album cycle, I seen so many people say, oh my God, there's got to be a Steel Panther and Wheeler Walker tour. Is that something you guys have ever considered?
I would, look, we would tour with anybody that we felt would add value to, the night. And because we did a buy-on, so for your viewers who aren't familiar with a buy-on tour, what that is a band who's headlining might get, asked by another band's manager or agent, can we buy onto your tour? And what that means is they want to pay to be on your tour.
Yeah.
It helps them get in front of people and exposed. We took a buy-on once on a UK tour, and I won't mention the band. And it was fucking horrible because our fans were subjected to this band and they were not cool. They weren't cool. It didn't add to the night. And in fact, I think it probably made people go, well, I don't want to go see, if we came around again, they'd be like less likely to go.
Yeah.
So, I think
it's a fine line, not to interrupt. I think it's a fine line though with buy-on bands because, all too often, some of these buy-on bands, they don't really have any, it's almost like it was just kind of thrown together but somebody, whether it's somebody in the band or, their parents or somebody in that camp just has a ton of money. And it's like, all right, I'm going to help you live your dream.
Right.
Like the band that, I think there was a band called, I forget what they were called, but they bought on to the final Motley Crue tour, I think, and then they ended up like suing them for like over $1 million or something.
Why?
Because if I recall, I think Motley was forcing the band to play like that to start before doors opened or something. Yeah, so they were really dicking him around. But also, I think the buy-on bands, you know, I get what they're trying to do. They're like, oh, you know, if I go buy onto this, you know, UK tour with Steel Panther, you know, I'm going to get to play to, you know, however, you know, so many more people than I could play on my own.
Sure.
But, you know, a lot of times, and I don't know that if you guys do this, but, you know, a lot of times you have to do price matching and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it's hard for the band, especially on a huge scale, like that Crew tour, for example. You know, it was Motley Crue, Alice Cooper, and this fucking buy-on band. You know, nobody gives a shit about the buy-on band. They're there to see the Crew and Alice Cooper. And then, you know, they have to charge, you know, $40-$50 or whatever it was for a T-shirt. And nobody in their right mind is going to pay $40 or $50 for a fucking shirt of a band that they just saw play for 10 minutes that they've never heard of. You know what I mean? So I'm not a huge, I'm not a big proponent of buy-ons.
No, look, I would do a buy-on. I would do a buy-on if we had super deep pockets and I could say to Iron Maiden, hey, can we buy onto your, well, maybe I would, maybe not at this point in my career. But if a band came to us and said, can we buy on, I would listen to the band. I wouldn't answer. If the band was good, I'd be like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Because I know that because the fan experience is important. The overall fan experience for that night. If you subject a fan to a shitty opening band, it just sets them up to be in a bad mood before you even hit the stage. And then they associate those bad moods with you. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather not have the money from a buy-on band and have a killer package.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
The one thing I do like about you guys is you guys always seem to bring out, you know, I think you could probably go the obvious route of bringing, you know, I don't know, Bullet Boys or, you know, somebody like that. But, you know, instead, you guys always seem to opt for a newer band, a younger band that's, you know, maybe, you know, working a single at Active Rock Radio, things like that, you know, trying to keep it fresh and you know, not do the obvious thing. And I think that's, you know, I prefer diverse packages. I don't want to go see, you know, whoever it is and then see however many other bands that sound just like that. You know, it's, and I think it's cool because, you know, I think a lot of people that go to Steel Panther shows, you know, there's a lot of younger people, a lot of older people too, though, who still listen to, you know, the 80s stuff and they're hearing new bands. And I think it is important, you know, to have some of these younger bands out to, you know, change things up, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we listen to every band that's presented to us by our agent to ask us if we're cool with them on the tour. Some bands like Crowbot, for instance, I actually told our agent, I want to take Crowbot, make it happen. So they, you know, we got to take Crowbot when we got Future Villains, True Villains. There's too many villains, dude.
Yeah.
I guess my point is there are a lot of young bands that are hungry and really fucking good, you know, that add to the night. And whether they, you know, it's cool if they help sell tickets, that's great. But like, we're going to go do some fucking shows with Blackstone Cherry in Florida. That package, Blackstone Cherry, Steel Panther, everybody could suck our dicks because that show is going to be, it's going to be a fucking just, people are going to get pummeled.
Are these the December dates?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that was with Blackstone Cherry.
Yeah. Oh, did I just blow something? I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Well, I guess it's out now. But no, this isn't going to air until December 1st anyway. So
can we make sure that I'm cool on that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
You're also taking, you're doing Australia with Seven Dust in February, right? And that was supposed to happen this year, right?
It was supposed to happen in I think June, or even earlier. I can't remember. April maybe. Right now it's February with Seven Dust, who their new record I fucking love.
Yeah, it is a great record.
It's a killer record. I texted Clint, the guitar player, and I go, dude, you write such good fucking songs. It's so cool to hear. I mean, they're such a fucking good band. I'm hoping we can do the shows, but we're not headed in the right direction right now. So
I agree, especially I mean, who knows how long these travel restrictions are going to be around.
It's going to be brutal. So we may be rescheduling it till later in 21, but I don't know, man. The whole fucking thing is the whole pandemic. It fucked it all up. We'll get through it, but
yeah, we'll all get through. Everything always seems to work itself out in the end.
Yeah.
A couple quick things before we wrap it up. I know there's been talk going around. I don't know if you can say anything or not, but about Steel Panther working on like a TV show or a movie of some sort or something like that.
Yeah, I can't tell you a lot. I can just tell you that we are hyper focused on the latter, doing a movie. There's been a lot of progress in getting it done. There's a treatment. There's a story. There's actors attached to it. So it's like, it's pretty exciting. That will change the game for Steel Panther. I think that's the thing that's going to change the game. Because a record, like, look, dude, Seven Dust just released a fucking epic record. But I just don't know if records are enough to change trajectories anymore.
Sure.
I just don't, man. I don't know. But in our case, if we do the kind of movie that I feel in my nuts and guts that we can do, on the level of like a Bill and Ted quality, funny wise, entertainment wise, with enough people attached to it that people want to come see it, I think it's gonna fucking be a grand slam. That's where my head's at.
Is there at least a proposed like time frame for something like this?
Not right now. I would be remiss to say if I did put a time frame. I can just tell you that I am being super duper proactive about it. We're not just waiting around. I'm going after this shit.
Oh well, hopefully it comes sooner than later, because I for one would love to see something like that. And I also, speaking of Bill and Ted,
cool? Oh, real quick, wouldn't it be cool to fucking go on Netflix and fucking see Steel Panther, the movie?
That'd be amazing. That would be awesome, and they have stuff like that, on there, so lots of different projects with various artists. But, going back to Bill and Ted, I thought the new one was fantastic, by the way.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen
it yet.
No, I have not seen it. I can't wait to go see it. I follow Alex Winter on Twitter, and I see a lot of stuff posted. Fans post stuff to him about the feature, and I really want to see it. I can't wait.
I think it's great if you're a fan of Bill and Ted. I think if you went into it, obviously you know what it is, but I think if you went into it not knowing who Bill and Ted was, you'd be like, oh my God, this has got to be the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like it would be like watching, kind of like John Wick 3, going, what
exactly.
But when you know the story, you're like, this is so bitch.
Yeah, and those movies are excellent. One final thing before we wrap it up, I just had to share with you my one of my favorite memories, and it has to do with Steel Panther. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. This was probably I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago, and you guys were playing. It was like I think it was like a rib fest or something in Cleveland. And I thought it was really weird that Steel Panther was playing, because I was like, it was all outdoor, and I'm like, man, this is an outdoor event. It's a family event, and they have Steel Panther playing. I was like,
where was it?
In Cleveland, like 5 years ago at Jacobs Pavilion. It's on the Cuyahoga River.
Oh, the boat?
Yes. Oh my God, that was one of the for most people probably don't know. So you guys are playing, the stage is on the river, and Steel Panther is playing. And, and I think the boat, it was like a ferry or something that you could pay, however much money to basically just take a little trip down the river.
That was a big, I thought that was a cargo boat.
Maybe it was. I think
it was a cargo ship.
But it was, I think there was a lot of people on it. And if you're sitting watching the band play, the river is behind the stage, and you can see the river from behind the stage, and the boat's coming down. You guys are playing, and you stop playing, and I think it was Satchel was like, honk if you love pussy, and the boat just fucking cranks the horn, and
the best part about that was when Satchel goes, "Hey boat," he goes, "honk if you love pussy," and there was that pause. And everybody felt like forever. Everybody's just waiting and waiting, and all of a sudden you hear, "Whoa!" It was awesome.
Yeah, that was.
Do you know that there's footage of that from the crowd online somewhere? But there's also footage from the captain. He shot it from in the thing and posted it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I've seen it. I know it's out there, so you have both views.
I can't even begin to say how funny that was. I mean, that was, oh my God, that was gold. That was
a moment that if you could only know how it felt if you were there. You can, because we're describing it, and people are probably going, "Cool, a boat honk when you asses." But the whole vibe of it, it was just like when he honked, everybody just went, "Fuck yes!" It was awesome.
That was awesome. Stix, thanks so much, my man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, dude. Thank you. That was really fun. I like the talk.